Hello, welcome to Alming Owl Yoga. My name is Ruthie, and today I'm going to really break down Sun Salutation A. So you might go to a local studio and they say things like move through your vinyasa or move through your flow or flow it out or whatever. And you might be like, well, I don't know what they're talking about. You might look around, people are moving way faster than you feel comfortable, and that can really take you out of the proper mind space to practice yoga in, because it's all about feeling your body and getting comfortable in your own movements. So this will really prepare you for going into a class when they say those things, and then you feel confident knowing what your flow is, where you are at right now, and feel comfortable, and you know your options. So if one day you feel stronger than you have in the past, then you can move through your flow at a faster rate, or adding in a full, like an up dog instead of baby cobra, whatever works for you. So I will explain all the options here, and then I'll show you my flow, and so you can really see the progression. And I hope this is helpful, and I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to start in mountain pose. Your feet are hips width distance apart, and if you lift your toes, you can feel the four corners of your feet, and then you let your toes just be extra support as they grip down. You want a slight micro bend in the knees, so you don't want this hyperextension, like sway in the knees, because that'll just create injuries over time. And for your sun salutation, you really need to make sure you're doing it in a way that's healthy for your body, because if you're doing one little thing wrong and you're doing it a lot, it can cause serious injuries, and then you can't practice yoga like you want to. So we just want to do this what's right for our body. So you want a micro bend in the knees. And then you want your hips to be tucked in and your navel to be tucked in to minimize the sway in your low back. So you're not sticking everything out and like standing like this. Everything is together and you're consolidating your energy into the center line. And all going up the Sushumna through the crown of your head. So your fingertips are reaching down toward the ground. Your shoulders are melting away from your ears. And the back of your neck is long. So your chin is slightly down, and the crown of your head is reaching toward the sky. Mountain pose. Then you inhale, raise your arms up above your head, and get the side body long. So you don't want your shoulders to be hunched up here. You want the shoulders to be relaxed, but the arms to be reaching, so the whole side body is getting very long on both sides. And then you exhale, hinge at the hips, bend the knees to your forward fold. So for forward fold, the goal is to get your spine to be long. So I like to imagine a rainbow from like the tip of my tailbone all the way through the crown of my head. So everything's nice and long. And some people can have that with their legs straight. But if you're not there, then don't force that quite yet. And just let everything open up over time. So to start, you definitely want your knees bent a lot to focus on the back. And then you can slowly start to straighten the legs if it feels good. Then you hang here. And then you inhale, halfway lift. So for the half lift, you want to imagine a very straight line from your tailbone all the way through your spine, through the back of your neck and the crown of your head. So everything is straight as it can be moving forward. And again, you can have your knees bent here if it feels good, or straighten out. Just however feels right for you to get your spine straight from your tailbone through the crown of your head. And then you exhale, fold. You inhale, plant your hands. So planting the hands, moving into plank, I think is very, very important. It's kind of the same as feeling the four corners of your feet. So I plant my palms without my fingers first and just really feel the ground. And you want it to be under your shoulders or slightly wider, but under your shoulders is the ballpark. And then you want your index fingers pointing directly to the front of the mat. So if your fingers are turned in a little bit, your shoulders will turn in, and that will create injuries over time. So you want your pinkies facing out and your pointers facing forward. Fingers spread nice and wide. Reach into the pads of the hand first, and then let the fingers reach into the ground and be the extra support that you need. And then inhale, step back to plank. So you want your shoulders to be over your wrists and your heels reaching toward the back of the room. If this is too much, you just drop your knees down to the ground. So it's not quite in tabletop. You can still feel your abs and your core working, but it's more doable here. So this can be your plank. If this is where you're at, this is your plank, okay? And then for chaturanga, another word you probably hear a lot and don't know what it is, your body's going to come down in one piece, leaving your elbows close to your ribs. So this isn't a push out where your elbows are going, this isn't a push up where your elbows are going out. Your elbows are staying in close to your ribs, and you're lowering your body in one piece down to the mat. And then feel the tops of your feet rooting down into the ground. Your hands are under your shoulders, and you just peel your heart up, coming to baby cobra. And then you exhale, release. Inhale with the same muscles as chaturanga. Push yourself up through hands and knees and back into child's pose. Then tuck your toes, lift your hips, exhale, downward facing dog. Down dog is the same as forward fold. The goal is to get your back nice and straight. So if your knees need to be bent, then keep your knees bent. It doesn't do any good if your legs are straight and you're up here like this, because your back isn't as long as it can get. So you bend your knees, lift your hips as high as you can, and you're still reaching into the four corners of the hands. There's a micro bend in your elbows, so you're not hyperextending your arms. And again, your shoulders are melting away from your ears, down your back, and you just feel your spine getting nice and long. And then the straightening of the legs comes afterwards, if it feels right to you. Then you look forward. You can take little steps. You can take 2 big steps. You can hop. But you just make your way to the top of your mat, landing in a flat back. And then you exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. So I'm going to move through that one more time with the modifications, and then I'll do it a third time, my own flow. So here we go again. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Inhale and plank. And exhale, chaturanga, dropping the knees down to the floor. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, down. Inhale through hands and knees, come into child's pose. And exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Look forward and step forward to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now I'll move through this one more time with my flow and using up dog, so I'll explain to you how the proper form to do up dog. Inhale, hands rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Inhale and plank. Exhale, bend the elbows, chaturanga. So I stop here, and then you shine your heart forward and up, coming into up dog. So up dog, you want the tops of your legs hovering over the ground, the tops of your feet rooting down into the ground. You're almost like in push-up arms. Your arms are very active, so you're not resting in the pose and tilting your head back. It's an active pose with your neck. Everything is facing forward. Your neck is straight. You don't want to throw your head back in any way because it's just uncomfortable. And the shoulders are really doing the work here, lifting your body. And then you roll over the toes, lift the hips, and come into your down dog. Look forward and step to the top of the mat to a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. Now I'll just do it one more time all the way through with less talking. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look forward. Step the feet forward to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to stand. And exhale, hands to heart center. All right, so I hope that is helpful to you. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything, or if you have any suggestions for me that I can be more helpful to you. I hope you learned a lot, and namaste.